guys. Okay, actually, let me come back. Hold on, you guys. Let me pop this up real quick. Okay, that was me. I always forget to do this, you guys, before I speak. So let's go. All right, Matt is here. Let's go. Let's go. Is there anything exciting yet? I think calm before the storm type of thing. Not much, you guys. I feel like we have been kind of stuck in the range still. But I feel also that YOLO update is coming soon. Who knows? Who knows if it's coming today or in a couple of days, huh? All right, let's go. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me set up real quick here. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be in here for a long time. I do need to do a couple of things. We'll see. Close to an hour. Let's shoot for that. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things here. All right, everybody, let's go. Matt, Michael, Amber, what's up? What's up? Carter, what's up? Oh wow, lots of people. Sergio, C, what's up? What's up? All right, 51 gangs are here. Let's go. Okay, so I just got my food, so I feel like I'm a bit more energetic, to talk about stuff. But very quiet, very quiet. Like nothing is going on at all. Huh? Of course, that's sarcastic. So of course, over the weekend, we kind of found out a whole bunch of stuff, right? Trade war and all that stuff. Was it really a war though? So apparently we just got the news that it's going to be a pause, 90 days pause. There's no trade deal being done yet, just a pause. So perhaps to give them some time to figure out what's going on. Who knows? Again, like, is this just to kind of pacify what is going to happen anyway and kind of give these people a heads up? Market's going to come down, right? Of course, we've kind of predicted that quite a bit, although, the global money supplies keep going higher. So I don't know which one to kind of go by. But I really think that, okay, so if you look at the DXY, right? And again, this is just me noticing it myself here. I feel like the DXY is probably a better indicator of things, and I had this fractal here, and it's kind of like tracking. And this fractal is from Trump last presidency, okay? Accounting from inauguration to now. And it's kind of uncanny a similarity here, right? So is it going to track that? So if that's the case though, then the dollar's gonna come crashing down until 94, okay? And that's kind of lined up around June, end of June. So my thought is that, okay, if the dollars keep coming down by the end of June, it means that, the stock markets and also Bitcoin typically go higher when the DXY goes down, okay? But again, anything could happen, right? This is just me speculating based on, my own limited point of view here. So don't make any trade based on that. It's for entertainment purposes it's only, okay? So Now, again, this is why it's kind of aligned with the M2 money supply type of deal too, right? If this is were to track perfectly like it was when he was first inaugurated or his first term, okay? And so with that, I'm gonna, with Bitcoin or even crypto, okay, crypto. Right now, I have more altcoin than Bitcoin at the moment. So my thought is to plan to take profit end of June for crypto. Now, as far as GME though, of course, again, GME really doesn't like have any headwind, tailwind, or whatever people are scared of, obviously, because it's on its own, trading path here. I feel so um, it's not much to say as if like, hey, if you're scared of the tariffs and all that stuff, and kind of listening to the articles out there that says GME is going to be the most affected, by tariffs. And if you believe that, obviously, do what you wish with the stock, but I wouldn't touch it for myself. Again, I already have my strategy and my position established in this particular company. So whatever it does, it's going to do what it wants to do. Okay. And obviously, with the negative delta, okay, on this stock as well. So when the market comes down, typically GME is going up against the market. But it's a slight delta here. It's not by much at all. Now, as far as like the shares sold naked and all that stuff, I don't know. Again, the swabs and whatever is happening behind closed door, I have no idea. I have no proof of that. Of course, I have an inkling feeling that they have not covers. Why? I mean, how? How are they going to cover, right? So what does that mean? It means you might have to not wait. You might have, sorry, you might not have to wait too long, okay, because of that. Now, I know, I feel like when I talk about this, it doesn't really matter what's happening in the economy at large, the SPY coming down, SPY going up, and all that stuff really doesn't matter because they're just trying to shake people off, okay, of the not the stock market as a whole here, because this makes no sense, right? Of course, this because of the fear, the news-based rally or news-based dump, um, to make you, kind of do something with your portfolio here. As far as like if you have GME, right? The reason why I don't like care about this too much. This is more like a long-term bet for me right here. The SPY. Because I have 401k and all that stuff. Like the only thing I could pick is like one of those basket, right? So of course I only care about it to an extent. Currently I'm in bonds, mostly bonds, but I have mid cap and all that stuff. So I was planning to do the same thing, right? End of June, I'm gonna go back to bond again. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to be successful at least beating the market on the downturn or whatever. And so I'm still expecting like a crash of some sort, but not to the point where people are going to be. It's like the world is gonna end, right? My thought about the market is that no matter what, they're gonna have to print, you guys. Like, it's at this point, how are you gonna be able to pay off the debt? It's just way too much, or escape the system altogether to go into Bitcoin. I think that's why Bitcoin has been introduced so much within this couple of years, because they have to know, right? They have to know that it's either printing more money or going through a correction of some sort. Okay. And so with Trump, I feel like, because he's from have a lot of like Wall Street friends as well. I know he's talks as if he doesn't, but uh, it's like that playground is the only thing he knows how to manipulate, in a sense. Okay, but you know what I like about Trump though? That he tells everyone before it happens. So, so technically, it's not like an inside trading; it's like an outside trading. I heard somebody said that on a video. It's like, okay, yeah, technically. Would you rather have an inside trader who doesn't tell you whether COVID's going to happen, but then they make the trade for that, right? Congress did that back in COVID time, where they would, bet on the vaccine stock and stuff like that, and all of a sudden, it goes up 3 or 4 times because of the COVID and all. And so again, like politicians, right? But again, this is what I like about Trump, is that he tells everybody, like, and if you believe him, obviously you're gonna make some money here. Now it could be wrong too, right? The thing is, like, we've never had presidents like this in our lifetime, so of course it's gonna be tough for people to grapple with. But I don't know. It is what it is. He's our president. What can we do? We could only align with a certain investment that we think it's going to go higher. But as far as like policies and all that stuff, it's going to be wild. And it's a wild card for sure. When you think about Trump in that sense. Do I like it? I mean, what is the alternative? Come on, it's going to be the same thing. Not much there. July 9th, the initiative 9. Okay. 90 days pause on all the other, all other countries, and it's over to expect volatility. So July 9th. Okay. Yeah, I think that plays into that graph right here. Like around that time. And it's almost like it's being played out like that, just to kind of do some sort of reset, right? And then after that, the dollar is gonna keep climbing higher too. So the dollar milkshake theory might still be in play as well. But every time the dollar goes higher, global trade grind to a halt. Okay. Now, if Bitcoin could take some of that world reserve currency off of the US dollar, right? Yes, it's going to be scary for most people who have no asset or have asset in dollar denomination. But, I mean, the scary part is to have, I think the risk is to have the dollar going higher in value because global trade. You've seen a lot of layoffs coming too, like Nissan just lay a whole bunch of people off. And previous 2 weeks ago, I think there was layoffs in UPS or a postal office or something. But yeah, layoffs is coming rolling in, and nobody's really seems to care too much about that. And so, I mean, that could have a negative effect into the future, I feel. You might not feel it right now because, people still, quote unquote, have some money slushing around. But the more people lose money, lose their job, the less for them to able to spend. And so, yeah, around that time for sure, early July, the first week of July, definitely take some profit, and that's what I'm planning to do with my crypto. Just in case, again, when the dollar goes higher again, some algorithm, who knows, right? There's a lot of programmability on that, trading bots and all that stuff. So that could be a time for even SPY to come down. But until then, right, we have about how long? Let me see. If you were to mark June right there, this is 4 hours. Oh man, I have to, won't let me do the vertical line here. All right, so it's around there. So let's see if I'm right. June, this is July 9th. There you go. Wednesday, according to Carter, but I think sometime in end of June, I'm gonna start trimming off some of my gains. Of course, GME I'm not gonna touch. That's a different ball game. But as far as like the other one, crypto, again, it's so sensitive, right? As far as crypto goes. But also too, today there was a meeting on the SEC front talking about regulating tokenization and all that stuff to to create a clear rule for those issuers and all that stuff to trade, and so that it opens up that arm, okay, or at least industry. So that's going to be good for crypto for sure. However, I'm very selective on what crypto I picked, because I think with regulator coming in, most of those crypto will not be in compliance unless they go through the rigorous process. And so I'm not going to touch the meme coins, all of the Pepe's and the Shiba Inus and all that. I think those are just a distraction. And so I'm just focusing on XRP, XLM, ADA, the 5 coins that Trump kind of like alluded to. And so it'd be crazy not to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 of them, right? And so again, I'm doing my own bets here. I feel like with regulations, these tokens are already, have a green light already. With XRP, right? It went through so many years of regulatory uncertainty and won that victory. They already have that victory already. So, and the SEC had some victory there too, because they agree to settle. Ripple's going to pay $50 million worth of XRP for the fines, and then drop the lawsuit. So it's good. It's good for both sides, right? At least the SEC has some win there. But as far as the token itself, the XRP token, I think it has a green light already, no matter what the regulation is coming, to regulate the rest of the cryptocurrency, aspect of things. It's remained to be seen. Now, of course, with the regulation, I've been waiting for this too, for GME to sink their teeth into this industry for so long, is that when you have a clear rule, now all bets, it's easier for entrepreneur, for people to build a product to fit the market, right? And so we have the platform already. Why not? And all we have to do is just hone on it. Now, PSA created card, added some I guess a new stream of revenue, authenticity, all of that. I mean, to me, again, this industry is not to be scoffed at all, because this is the future for GameStop as well, that they could go into for sure. Now, how is it going to look? I don't know. It's everything is new here, obviously. But the fact that we have a hand in that, I think it's very beneficial. Okay. Also, too, again, that platform could also accept Bitcoin, could also accept cryptocurrency, could also buying and selling, exchange on that too. So who knows if we're even, getting into like tokenization of our stock, right? For a shareholder, like that would be very enticing, huh? What if some sort of dividends for a shareholder who, have been here for quite some time? So, yeah, it's remained to be seen. But as far as the price action, I have no idea. I mean, today was pretty boring, but but I feel like we've kind of built some foundation here. I think 20H we breach 20H 20H. What the heck is wrong with me today? $28 a share, and yeah, this is a pretty tough resistance, you guys. Like, let me see if I it won't let me, huh? Crazy. I have no idea. My computer is acting up like crazy. Okay, so we've seen that 28 is pretty tough resistant. Okay, so we've seen even over here, you could see that over here, you could see over here. So rejection at $28 a share. Whole bunch of interaction over here, and so we need to break that one, tomorrow and the next week. Now see, this is the daily, but what if I look at the weekly candle over here? So with this one, there's a lot of doji candle over here, indicating that that wick, it means a strong push to the upside. But again, volume has to come in. We've seen a little bit better improvement on volume, but not much there, you guys. Nothing to get excited until over here. Of course, everybody is waiting on Roaring Kitty to tweet. I am included in that too, because hey, 1 year anniversary over here, right? Of that chair leaning forward type of image that caused us the stock to just go crazy, right? That's what the media would love you to think. And so yeah, it's far-fetched. Wouldn't be far-fetched that he's gonna tweet sometime by the end of today. Huh? Maybe, I don't know. But that would be cool. That would be cool if that were to happen. Currently though, let's see. Morantz was talking about the Rideau of Doom. We're parking up there. So who knows? This might be the break off of the lifetime. So just be prepared for that, huh? Now, everybody stocks going higher every time they mention anything about Bitcoin, Bitcoin treasuries and all that good stuff. But for some reason, for us, it's a little bit kind of muted, okay? Perhaps, again, they're just waiting on something. Who knows? The swaps, and we've been seeing a lot of institutional ownership going higher. Hold on, let me see if I could find that there. GME. Wait, actually, Intel. Right there. Okay. Give him 1 second here. Go back right there. So you've seen this graph kind of slushing around on X. And you see like they keep just quietly accumulating. Nobody say a peep, right, when they're increasing their position. Perhaps, again, it's going to be a slow burn things, okay? You might not see that spike, but you could be sure that the stock price is going to go up slowly, okay? And this is the point that I'm trying to make here. Remember when I say that institutional ownership, like the stock is not going to move until this reached over 50%. And so long as retail is still kind of like fall asleep to this, they might not even realize that a lot of institution already increasing their position by a percentage at a time. Remember, it used to be 38%, okay, a couple months ago, okay? And before you know it, it's going to be 50% institution, and then that's when it's going to rocket, right? But yeah, I mean, will retail be patient enough to take advantage, or to at least stay long enough to reap the benefit, right? I mean, typically traders don't want to, be in this type of stocks. That's why, again, they only wait for that momentum to arise. But sometimes that momentum, you cannot catch it, because by the time, you get to, let me see, right here, right? I mean, how many people will try to catch this and caught off guard and have to see their portfolio down like 80% in a day, right? It's crazy. So you don't want to be that person for sure. And so that's why retail typically lost, is because they wait for this opportune time. They think that, oh, all I have to do is wait for this type of movement. And again, you will never catch it. That's why long-term investors tend to do much better over time than the people that are buying and selling. And then, just hope that you could beat the algorithm and all that stuff. You can't, for sure. Well, unless you're Rowan Kitty, right? So he's an exception for sure. Okay, so with that in mind, I will keep you kind of posted. But I feel like, again, with the crypto industry moving forward right now, where we're getting a chairman, SEC chairman, pro crypto, and really wanting to work to clarify something for the market. I think I post. Let's see. I think he make a brief statement. I think I've posted on here. Let me right here. So let's kind of take a listen. It's a short clip for sure, but it really tells you what this SEC chairman is there to do.
A key priority of my chairmanship will be to develop a rational regulatory framework for crypto asset markets that establishes clear rules of the road for issuance, custody, and trading of crypto assets, while continuing to discourage bad actors from violating the law. Clear rules of the road are necessary for investor protection against fraud, not the least to help them identify scams that do not comport with the law. It's a key.
This is good, right? I mean, you want this type of regulation for any industry. Okay, not only for good actors like us, who have a business, meaning Jimmy, who have a business who, really could use this type of technology to, discover new revenue stream. Okay. And how? Well, remain to be seen, right? We could be the middleman, like, buying and selling goods and services on the blockchain. And now you have an accountant in which, you could really scale it up in that sense, whether it's through artists or through having people buying and selling on your platform, just like eBay of some sort, using cryptocurrency, right? And so that was the original idea for the NFT marketplace. And not only that, it's just like a, in-game items and all that stuff to play with the character. Of course, that stuff takes some time because you need builders, people who actually want to build those type of games. And then also indoctrinating the new generation to like this type of game, playing those type of game, right? And then are they going to be able to, kind of make money on that too, right? Because again, they become popular. I mean, the idea of esport and all that stuff really enticing too, because I feel like we have some sort of relationship with FIFA, right? To what extent, I don't know, because we don't see much. But I think months and months ago, we had some posts along that line. I wonder if I could find it. Hold on. Don't know if you remember seeing that, any one of you. Because FIFA, like the World Cup thingy. Oh man, it's too long. It's too long. I don't want to scroll down too long. But anyway, so we sold our Canadian arms of stores, so we don't have to worry about doing business there anymore. So that's again cut down the liability, cut down the expenses of store. Kind of focusing on the Pokemons and also e-commerce, right? We don't need the store to sell products here. We could sell it online of that sort. So, but anyway, the big opportunity is for sure the tokenization of asset here. And then building a platform that would allow people to use this type of technology. But again, my point here is that it's going to take some time. Okay, how long? I don't know. But if they add Bitcoin to their balance sheets, right, it's gonna again boost some of that asset class. Because again, if the asset class goes up in price, more and more, states and corporation are now, getting very interested with the digital aspect of things, right? Bitcoin, adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, and then other countries gonna kind of join the arm race of, allowing people to use digital currency in order to, custody and all that stuff. So I think good things is coming for sure. Of course, XRP. It's been kind of talked about how it's going to be the rail, which I really think that it is useful enough for that purpose, but it's going to be taking some time to build as well. Let people build that. And then what good things about that here is too is relating to the Grand Theft Auto 6. And there's rumors that they're going to allow Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT. Okay, that's Tether. And it's already confirmed, apparently. Who knows, like, if this is a true thing. But remember, in the wording for GameStop, right, we did mention about stablecoin. So are we gearing up for that as well? You see what I mean? So we've been through that, you guys. I'm telling you, these type of leadership, they're not just not having any connection, and they're not. I mean, I don't think Ryan Cohen going to Bitcoin is an accident. He knows where the roadmap is already for the digital gaming and all that stuff, right? And so to have these games either accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, or stable coin as a form of payment, that's huge, you guys. And we are there already. If we were to accept those digital asset, into our balance sheets, yes, perfect. It's along the line of the gaming aspect of thing too. So very exciting, like to say that, what does this have to do with GME, Bitcoin, and all that stuff? Well, we all know that it's some association there, right? So I have no doubt that Ryan Cohen already did a lot of research and extensive research on Bitcoin here, and where the roadmap for the next big thing is already. I know people would like you to think that Bitcoin is whatever. Again, it's just an agreement between the world over here. How long will people agree with you? Currently, I'm sure more than 10% of the world knows anything about Bitcoin. So only 10%, right? So you're pretty early in that sense. And then, of all those 10%, how many people actually buy Bitcoin? Come on. Think about this. How long have you known about Bitcoin and you haven't buy it? Because you haven't been convinced into buying it. So just because you know about it, it doesn't mean that you have it. And so the next stage is that, okay, then when are you going to buy? By the time you buy, what price is it going to be? Okay, the same way with GME, right? How many people know about GME and doesn't even own GME? See what I mean? And so again, a function of how many people will agree with you, and the more people will agree with you in terms of, the Bitcoin is a new asset class. Bitcoin is a digital gold. That narrative has been around for quite some time now already. Think about that. So, and how about the narrative that GME is a good company to own? Not quite there. Okay. That narrative, it's just been what, a couple years old. Okay. But the narrative that Bitcoin has been hailed to that standard of digital gold, I think, don't underestimate that narrative. For sure, in the next 10, 15 years, you're going to see that narrative play out pretty amazingly. The same way with Jimmy, for sure. Yeah. And so, to me, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Both Bitcoin and Jimmy is, that's why I'm telling you. Two of my favorite superhero, okay, come together to fight for the same cause. And so, you can't get any better than that at all. Okay. Now, MicroStrategy is at his only, the company. Strategy is at its only, because again, first mover advantage, and he's pretty bullish on Bitcoin. And he's just going to continue to print money to buy Bitcoin in his own way, right? He prints shares to buy Bitcoin, right? Selling his share to buy Bitcoin, right? So that's the whole idea. But he was saying that it's going to return 30% a year for the next 10, 15 years. Okay. Now, 30% a year for the next 15 years, of course, it kind of depends. What if, the growth of people, mass adoption, people all of a sudden realize this and then they bought in, right? And spike the price so high that 1 year is just going to be, 10x. And then the rest of the year is just consolidation, right? For the next 3, 4, 5 years until the next round comes. So again, new asset class. Raoul Paul already kind of did a talk about how it's going to become $100 trillion industry. 100 trillion. That's a big number, but he said within the next within the next 10 to 20 years. By that time, of course, you will want to own something. Think about this. The asset class he's talking about is crypto, okay? And so with the regulation, coming to play here, I think in the short term, it could double or even 5x, okay, from here. Because immediately, people still have skeptical. It's like, if this is even anything. And so people in crypto is pretty new. Think about this, you guys. Okay, so take advantage of that. The fact that you know about XRP, the fact that you know about Bitcoin is not a rite of passage, but the rite of passage is you actually buying into it. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. I think that's all I have for now, you guys. I think I babbled long enough. But what is happening over here? So I guess this is a commercial. Okay, well, let's listen in and I'll let you guys go after this. Okay.
Every day, the Fed prints an average of $465 million. That's 26,000 shipping containers a year, created out of thin air. Maybe that's why the dollar loses value over time. But there's one thing they can never print more of: Bitcoin. At the size of a quarter, this is all there will ever be. Shouldn't a store of value hold its value?
Okay, that was incredibly short. I thought it would be a lot more. But apparently, Coinbase just joined the S&P 500. All right, so congratulations. There you go. That's going to increase the legitimacy of the space and all that stuff. More, big money coming in, okay, into the space. Lots of good stuff's happening, you guys. Come on, okay? And then you have Eric Trump's over here promoting Bitcoin. So let's listen into that one.
Bitcoin is truly digital gold. It's the greatest hedge you could possibly have against hard assets, and we are a hard asset family in that it's immediately liquid. You can transfer it anywhere around the world. You can take it anywhere around the world. It's 24/7, 7 days a week. It's an unbelievable store of value. And again, real estate is my bread and butter, but real estate's none of those things. If I want to go sell a hotel, it could take me 12 months to do that transaction. It's illiquid. Now, it's a great store of value, no question about it, but Bitcoin is almost the perfect complement toward, the world that we love so much. And so between kind of being forced into an industry, having a lot of like-minded people in that industry who are also getting absolutely meleeed by the very people who are coming after us, it brought together kind of a unique allegiance. And, Bitcoin and HUD 8, what they do, they're phenomenal at what they do. And, it's kind of the perfect synergy between, myself, Don, and a company that's already amazing, where you go out.
So he's talking his own book, right? The HUD 8, the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin mining company used to be, and now I guess they joined force with the energy company. So who knows? Again, I didn't do research on HUD 8, but it's promising, obviously. I don't have any HUD 8 right now, so full disclosure. But I might accumulate some, but no, right now I'm just into crypto and Jimmy. Those are the best one. So this one, Hester Pierce. I think she's like associated with Citadel or something like that, but we'll see. So listen in.
Tokenization cannot reach its full potential without legal clarity. Issuers and transfer agents continue to be unsure about whether a crypto network can be the master security holder file or a component thereof for purposes of the Exchange Act's transfer agents rules, and even where state law has expressly provided or contemplated the use of a crypto network in connection with the maintenance of securities ownership records. Further, the Commission's special purpose broker-dealer statement, which defines crypto asset security to encompass any security, tokenization cannot...
Yeah, so the point is that you can't do it without legal clarity, okay? So, the problem with crypto before this, okay, even though it should be useful and it should be used widely already, but again, there's some safety guardrail over here that these institution doesn't want you to understand it, right? And if it's too useful, it could put them out of business, okay? If you and I could just transfer value from one another, wallet to wallet, you don't need the bank to do that, really, right? And so you could see why they trying to guardrail it so much that, if people caught on to the fact that, hey, you could transfer Bitcoin from one wallet to another, as long as you have wallet, as long as you have the verification that you're sending it to the right person, for whatever exchange of value that you get, then you're good to go. Hopefully you're not doing crime with that, right? But The whole point is that like cash, right? If I gave you $20 to cut my lawn, right? There you go. Same way, right? I could give you some Bitcoin to cut my lawn. Same exact exchange. There's no, you know, there's no crime committed there, right? The only crime is that, you know, maybe they don't want you to transact in Bitcoin. But who are they to say? Like, if you're a free society, I think United States should be okay with that, right? The only reason why they wouldn't be okay with that is because the banking system would collapse or cease to exist. Because then we could just transact on our own. I mean, the only thing is, I think the with Bitcoin transferring, right? It takes a lot of education on that, like technical savvy people to be able to do that, and so that's why one of the hindrance of Bitcoin progress is that no one has figured out how to make it easy, safe, and easily accessible to people who don't know anything about seed phrase and all of that, right? So in my opinion, if Gamestop could do that with the platform, I think that's the next big platform to build. But those type of things take a long time. I mean, think about Amazon, right? The whole one click thing. It takes some time for them to implement it and create it and all that stuff. But when they're able to perfect that, orders just come rolling in, right? Because it's so easy for people to order things, right? One click and then boom, done. The item comes to your door. And so the same way with crypto, right? If people can easily use it and trust it and making sure that, you're not going to lose any value because you're sending some Bitcoin to the next wallet, then people would be more likely to use it. And I think it's coming, within the 10 years time span for sure. When there's money, opportunity, and all that stuff, entrepreneurs, people are gonna flock into that space because again, they want to make as much money in a short amount of time as possible. And that's what the capital market is all about, is, to find those company, and hopefully you could have some shares of those company later on, because you are able to spot those company before anyone else, and believe in those company before anyone else, right? When it's cheap enough for you, because the more people agree with you, the more expensive those share price are to buy in the future. Why do you think Bitcoin is now over $100,000 a coin, while it used to be $1 or even less than $1 20 years ago? Not even 20 years. Sorry. No. 15 years ago. 10 years ago. Okay. Well, because more and more people caught on to the value of Bitcoin, right? And so, but also too, think about how long it takes for people to agree with that narrative. And that's why Bitcoin would never come down to zero, ever, because it takes that long. It's like, it took Bitcoin about 18 years to get to this point, right? So it might take half of the year, half that long, for Bitcoin to go the other side, right? in my opinion. So yeah, unless something catastrophic happened, right? But even then, like I said, now we have created incentive for people to protect Bitcoin network because it's how valuable it is, right? Now institutions are in it, so the incentive is there to protect it for sure. I think that's it, you guys. Sorry, I was gonna kind of X out, but I kind of got off sidetrack. But anyway, so let's think. Let's see what's going on. Hopefully, Roy and Kitty's gonna tweet end of day today. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. And if not, hey, Jimmy's gonna do fine. Everybody is as excited as ever. The price is $28 a share. Come on, right? People think that we're going bankrupt by this time. And then also too, we're closer and closer to our shareholder meeting at June 12th. Okay, so we are a month away from that. Yeah, let's count on that. Who knows? Maybe we're not even buying Bitcoin. We might be buying, an exchange of some sort. Coinbase, for example. Who knows, right? Before it was into the S&P 500. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Or MicroStrategy. Who knows? Who knows? We already make that investment. All right, guys. I will let you go. I will see you